Well, hello, hello, hello,
I
and
just need the
welcome.
fan because it's hot here. That's the only
Okay,
reason I
because
have mine up.
I really feel like grabbing. But hello, hello, and welcome to the Cup TV, part of the Cup Network, where we put the real and the tea in reality, and where you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm your girl Lana, your resident evil diva, and I did not change my thing over from my last recording.
I was gonna ask.
And you all have no idea what yeet is if you're not a fan of WWE. But if
I
you are,
thought I thought it might have been a yeet to somebody that got eliminated in this set of episodes, which I would have supported. But that's just me.
yeah,
Um,
no, that's not that. But it's okay. It's okay. Sometimes you have to switch it up every now and again. But I am your resident evil diva, and I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because I love me some tea. Her. And if you have some tea, you know what to do. Hit me up. I am drinking this new strawberry orange Sunkist that I said was
do we like it now?
it's still okay. It's
Okay,
still okay. It's not
okay,
horrible. I probably won't buy it again. It won't be my first choice to
sure,
buy it again. But since I have a 12 pack of it, I'm gonna drink it.
hmm
So
totally.
there we go. But if I was drinking anything else, and it wasn't being a holder for all kinds of other things, I would be drinking out of my cup mug. Uh huh. See, I have so much stuff in here that I can't even get to
Cup
the
mug, da na na na. Cup mug, da na 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 na. Cup
ba-ba-da-da-da, cup mug.
mug,
Ba-ba-da-da.
cup
But
mug.
you can get your cup mug or any of our cup merch at lanatcreations.etsy.com. The link will be in the description below. We have some new things in the shop if you haven't checked it out. And we do ship domestically here in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. And we do ship internationally. So there are no excuses. And Malaysia, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you, Malaysia. Get your cup merch. Period.
And I am Logan Murphy. I say something gay. Gay. I was noting with Lana, we both decided to pull out our canned beverages today. I'm drinking some Coke Zero because it's what I have on hand. I needed just a little pick me up. But yeah, but it's not just Coke Zero. It is Coke Zero with a little bit of fresh lemon in it because that is how I prefer my Coke Zero. I would also have put it over ice, but I was out of ice. So yeah, that's what we're drinking. And water, of course, because hydration is important in Malaysia, where we are.
Absolutely.
It is, I think, hot there sometimes,
Yeah,
which is
it's
why I
hot
have
there.
my fan.
Cool.
But I am just so excited to be on here talking about the mole because first, foremost, and most importantly, Muna
Mhm,
Abdullahi.
mhm, mhm,
Hello, hello,
mhm,
hello.
mhm.
So, yes, I'm very excited to talk about these episodes because from what I know, I did watch the episode you did, unfortunately by yourself.
Mhm,
Um, but I did watch that episode, and I have heard some things that you have said, Lana, in
mhm,
messages that I've seen you send.
mhm,
And I think we might be along the same lines as to who we think the mole is.
mhm.
So I'm very excited to dive into that.
Yes, me too. But before we do any of that, um, we have we are part of the Cup Network. You heard me say it. So we have three other channels that you could join and get some great content from. You can go to our link tree in the description below and click on all the links to all of our YouTube channels. Subscribe, hit the notification bell on all of our channels. We appreciate all of the support. You can also find our audio podcast links. They are in that is also in the description below if you want to hear us on the go. And you can also find a link to our membership page so we can have some exclusive content across all four channels and some early access to across all four channels. So you don't want to miss any of that. Join our YouTube page. I mean our membership page. Period. And yeah, we have some good things coming your way. So don't hesitate to join and subscribe to all of our channels. So now we're going to get into the mole
Yes, please.
episodes 3 through 5, and where we left off. First, let's bring up the visuals because
Gorge.
one thing we want to make sure that we know who everybody is we're talking about.
Because I'm going to be 100% honest with y'all. I am still learning people's names other than Muna because I know her. Like, that is...
We're definitely all still trying to learn names, but
Oh, well, then I should take down this ticker banner because that blocks 4 of the names.
that blocks 4 of the names. But
well, Julie,
we saw Jen. Jen was the first one to go. Unfortunately, she just got it wrong. Got the first quiz wrong. After the shenanigans in the second episode between Tony and Hannah,
oh, God.
it was people wasn't looking at them the same no more, which I understand because I wouldn't look at them the same either. I would be very annoyed. And here's my thing. When did this all happen between Tony and Hannah? Because
there has to be stuff we're not seeing.
Yeah, it's so much stuff we're not seeing because they went from the first day of not knowing each other to the next day they hugging up and kissing on each other. I'm like, what the heck? What? Okay, whatever. And not just doing it, they just so blatant about it. They just all out. And I was like, oh, okay, this is what we doing. But it doesn't matter. It's neither here nor there. So after we left off the second episode where it was the standoff between Tony and Hannah and who was gonna get up, and the money was still dwindling down. So Hannah, of course, is like, he's gonna get up for me because I'm just gonna flirt with him and he's gonna do what I say because I have him wrapped around my finger and he's just gonna do what I say. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I'm not getting up. She's like, get up, Tony. Just get up. And he's like, no, Tony, just get up. Just get up. And you know what? Tony gets up. He gets up. And so Hannah has exemption. She has the exemption. And
I honestly think this was the perfect time for her to have it because I fundamentally believe that she would have been eliminated if she didn't have the exemption. But there is the other part of me
that feels she might be the mole.
I think, and I didn't want to go straight into it straight away. I think Hannah's the mole.
She is definitely one of my top suspects as the mole.
I will go even as far as to say, I think in general, I think the mole is a woman.
Yep. Me too.
I don't think it's a man because of a lot of the antics we see with Mike throughout this episode, with a lot of the antics we see with Sean throughout this episode, or these episodes, and with how, because the other person I had thought in the first couple of episodes, because obviously I don't know who it is. None of us do. There was a hot moment in the first couple episodes. I thought it could be Muna. I have now shifted away from that. I don't think it's Muna personally.
Yeah, I don't think it's her either. I don't think it's her.
Though it wouldn't surprise me, but I don't think it's her.
It wouldn't surprise me if it was her, but I think she's playing into it too much to make me believe it's her.
And that's how I feel about both Muna and Mike. I feel like they are both playing into it too much. Those are the two that I'm like, if those are the two at the end of this game, I would not be surprised in the absolute slightest, because those are the two people for me personally that are exhibiting the most social strategic gameplay of anybody here.
Right. I agree completely. Well, I was like, who would surprise me if they were the mole? And I would just be like, whoa. Everything I know is wrong in this world. Everything I believe is crazy. The world is flat. The sky is green, and
literally
the river is red. If Deanna was the mole, I would be like,
Deanna,
I wouldn't trust anything anymore.
You would have given up on life.
Absolutely. If she's the mole, I would give up on everything. I'm like, nah, no way. But we go to the next uh elimination quiz,
Yes.
and was it right after that?
Basically, yeah. I also want to say, I don't like Ari as the host. I'm not a huge fan. I don't find him compelling as a host.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of honestly my big takeaway from the first two episodes, was just that I don't love Ari as a host, personally.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's fine.
Yeah,
But
I don't think he. I like the host from last season better. I will say that I do.
I will also say, this is actually the first time I'm watching them all. Because
Mm.
I never got around to watching season one. Even though we covered it for the channel. But I never watched it. So I know the premise, obviously, so I was familiar enough with the rules. But I am really enjoying it. I
Oh
will
yeah,
say
it's really
that.
good.
I
It's
don't like the drop schedule, but that's just a Netflix thing, so like whatever.
right.
But yeah, we go straight into the elimination quiz. They do the
Yeah,
quiz.
they do
It's
the
the
quiz.
normal blah 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 blah.
Like it's you do the quiz. They are puts your name in. We see if you have a red or green screen, and they go through. And Melissa gets eliminated. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I didn't suspect her to be the mole. She was never a suspect of mine, even though she was a suspect of some people because of how slow she was. Oh, wait.
No,
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 no.
because no, this is where Andy goes home.
I forgot about Andy. Oops.
Yeah, this is where Andy goes home.
Oops. Andy goes home here. I'm about to say something ain't right.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this
Andy
is
go.
this is where
Oh,
Andy goes home because Hannah and Tony were like, well, it has to be Andy.
right.
But it's not Andy. He goes home. And this is where Hannah and Tony share a kiss. And this is where I was like, okay, what the hell are we seeing? Like, what
Right.
are we seeing? What are we missing? Confusion, delusion, paranoia. Like, what all are
I
we
was
not seeing? What's happening in the private quarter situation when we're not filming?
I
Confusion.
was very utterly confused about it.
Yeah.
I agree. I was very confused. I was like, wait, what? What do you mean? They just like I've just never seen it so blatant and out there and everybody's like so
Mm-hmm.
accepting of it. Like, I don't know. Maybe maybe I'm crazy, but it just
No, I don't
seemed
think you are because I didn't note any of it, honestly. Like it really didn't it didn't it didn't clock for me. But no, it's Andy and then spoiler, it's Melissa after Andy. That's the sequence. Um but but yeah. Anyway, it is what it is. I will also say I watched all 5 of these episodes basically back to back. So I fully went along with you on that journey where I was like, yeah, no, totally, Melissa. Yeah, no, this is where Andy goes.
yep, you are
So
right. And you know what? It's okay. It's always room to improve and figure things. Like I've watched this a couple of days ago, so I've had it in my head for a few days. So it's okay. It's all right. But
yes,
I'm gonna, yeah. So I'm gonna make it right though. I'm gonna make it right
okay. Here, I
because
will. I'll. So yes, Andy goes home. I got you, Lana. You work that out.
oh,
I
it's
got you.
already done. It's already
Oh, just
done.
kidding. Plot twist of the century. Well, then let me preface the third mission. I'll go ahead and do that.
Right.
So we're headed to Forest City, in South Malaysia. I love that we're seeing so much of Malaysia because
Yes.
honestly, my only idea of Malaysia up until this point, honestly, is when they would go to Kuala Lumpur on Amazing Race.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because that's one of the cities that I like distinctly remember being like, oh no, like that it's a gorgeous city.
Very
So
gorgeous.
yeah, very cute, very gorgeous. So we're headed to Forest City. They're split into two cars, which then become their teams. And this is where we have the jewelry heist. So we have team 1 is Mike, Tony, Hannah, Sean, and Q. Team 2 is Deanna, Ryan, Nish, Melissa, and Queen, icon, legend, Muna Abdullahi.
Mm-hmm.
This was honestly the least interesting of the missions we've had so far.
I don't know. I liked it. I thought this was a good mission. I liked it. It gave me very escape room, and I was here for it. I'm a fan of a good escape room, even though I just don't participate in them. When I do it, I make sure the group who's doing it with me is way smarter than I. But um, they had to one of the team, somebody from the team had to scale down a building and find a balcony with the red chair. Once you find the balcony with the red chair, you tell your team where where it is so they can go meet you in that apartment. And then you had to look for the jewels and find it in the safe, crack the safe, bring the jewels out to Ari.
Yeah.
And that's the premises. That's what it was. The premise of the challenge. And so both Andy, Melissa and Sean were the ones to was chosen to go down the building. Both of them were scared out of their minds. Scared out of their minds. Could not.
I would be too.
Me too. Don't like it. Sean was like, I'm afraid of heights. Melissa was like, I'm a little bit afraid of heights, not too much, but I'm scared to rappel. I don't know what to do. Da da da.
I
So
would have
it
been
took.
Melissa, like, I'm terrified. Terrified. And I've rappelled before, but it was off of a 50-foot rock when I was 14. So, like, no,
Yeah,
thank
no.
you. I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm not for that life. But they knew they had to do it. They had people counting on them. And so Melissa started first, started going down. But baby, she was inching down that rappel thing like inch, 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 inch. When Sean finally did it and got over it, he zoomed down that thing. It was like he started way after Melissa, but passed her quickly and was like, nope, 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 1980, 76. Like he like zoom, 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 and got down. And the red chairs were on the fourth floor. So everybody had to run to the fourth floor. Like I said, Sean zoomed down there. So his team was down there first, and they got into the apartment, and they started looking. All these numbers are everywhere in the house. So they had to figure out the first you had to find the safe, and then you had to find the code to the safe. And it was all um, these numbers were everywhere. The numbers were circled, numbers were out, and they gave them everything they needed in this bag to win this challenge. Ari made that specifically clear. He was like, everything you need is in this bag to succeed in this challenge. And so they were doing that. And
Yeah.
all the numbers they were trying to gather. First, Q found the safe. I don't know why nobody looked behind the picture first, because everybody knows that a safe is behind the portrait. Like,
That would have been the first location I would have went to.
me
Like,
too.
I know heist movies. I've seen a couple of them.
Shoop, here's the safe. Bam.
But
But they finally found the safe, and then they started looking for the numbers. Um, Q was trying to figure out why, what was in the bag. He figured out the
yeah.
flashlight situation, but there was no batteries. But there was thousands of batteries around this house. Like there were like so many batteries.
Shady boots for that production. In the words of Jada Essence Hall, shady little boots in the shade. It's like, you. Speaking of, can we also acknowledge how wild it is that we have had 3 reality TV contestants named Q in the year 2024?
Yep.
I
Crazy.
hope he gets fourth. I really do. I think he's a lovely man. He's a lovely
Yes.
character.
Yes.
I would like him to get eliminated right before the finale.
Oh,
That is what I would like to see, because it would just keep the trend going. The trend, or he gets fifth, because
right.
then we would have a queue in fourth, fifth, and sixth this year. So
Wow. Wow. That'd be
yeah,
interesting. That'd be
wouldn't
so
that be
interesting.
stupid?
That'd be so
Wouldn't that be
stupid.
stupid?
I would just laugh. Oh my gosh.
Um,
But yeah, so
yeah,
finally Melissa gets down there and lets her team know where it is. So they get down there. Muna finds the safe because Muna's smart. Muna finds the safe.
Muna is a genius. So shocker, she found it.
She found the safe, and everybody's like, "Oh, okay, let's look for these numbers." So they figure out they're going through everything, and then Muna again says, "Wait a minute, y'all. Let's look in this bag and see what's in the bag. Maybe it can help us." Since Ari did say everything we need to succeed is in this bag.
Mm-hmm.
So again, Mona goes, looks in the bag, finds the flashlight. They look for the. She was like, "There's so many batteries around here," because she had been looking at all these batteries, and so she was like, "Oh, let's put the batteries in the flashlight." Flashlight comes on. Then everybody realized, "Oh, it's not a regular flashlight; it's the black light."
Black light.
So they're like, "Oh, let's go look for stuff." So now they're putting it on everything, and they put it on the safe to see fingerprints on four numbers.
Yeah.
Now they have to figure out what these numbers are and what order they go in. And they only have 3 attempts to do it before the alarm goes off. And if the alarm goes off, you lose the mission. So Q, Sean, Tony, and Hannah's team, they go looking, they look, and so they find 348 is on the clock. 348 is something else that they see that 348 is the number. They just have to figure out what the six goes because they think it's 6348. Does 6348 go in the beginning or 6348 goes at the end? Is it 3486? So they think those are the four numbers. And they try both 634. Well, the first one they tried, it was some number that they didn't. It was just random that they picked that. The first one, the first attempt was very random. They didn't go for anything. And so then the next two was 6348, and that didn't work. And so they were like, okay, Mike was on that team too. I keep forgetting about Mike. But before we go any further, let's keep looking. So they go look around some more. And so they realize they're running out of time a little bit. So they're like, let's just try 3486 because that's what Hannah came up with.
Mm-hmm.
So they tried 3486. It was incorrect. The alarm starts going and they have to run up out of there. Now the other team is once they found a black light, they look at Deanna is this wannabe investigator. She wants to be an investigator. She wants to do it without technology and all kind of stuff. So she is like very meticulous and trying to look for things and look for all the different clues. They're looking through the black light and they finding things. And so they're like, okay. What do we do? What are we missing? We're missing something.
Yeah.
We're missing something. And so then they were like, okay, 12 is circled here and 12 is over here. It has to be 12 something, right? And so they're looking and they're looking. They put in their first attempt and it was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And so they keep looking. They find that there's a clue that you can spend half the money, $5,000, to open this clue. So they're like, wait, no, let's not open it right now. Let's just keep looking. Let's keep looking. And so they're looking, and then they realize that a light on, I think it was a book or something, lit up. So they were like,
yeah,
oh.
It was like one of the books, or it was like a clock or something. It was like, something like that.
Yeah, something lit up. So they like the black light lights up the numbers. So they're like, oh, okay. So they find that. And then they find the hat the fireman hat that had 21 on it. So they're like, it's not 12, it's 21. And because it lit up. So they were like, okay, so we see what it is. We just need to find the right order on what it is. And they had used two of their clues at that point.
Mhm.
And so it really came down to, is it 2193 or is it 9321? And Niche decides we need to open up this clue because maybe it'll help us. And then they open the clue only for the clue to tell them that the numbers light up. And they were like, duh, we know. We know that. We figured that part out. So they wasted $5,000. And it comes down to a coin flip, y'all. A coin flip.
This cast is pissing me off in more ways than one, honestly.
Oh my God. Oh, it was like a coin flip. But they flipped the coin. They guessed the number what they said it was. And lo and behold, it was right. The
Thank
safe
God.
opens. Thank God. The safe opens. They grab the jewels and they head out to Ari and they give them the jewels and they win $5,000 in their pot because they are the only team that brought something back, even though they used half of it. So it was supposed to be a $10,000 pot. It was a $5,000 pot. And after the everything that happened in the last round, they are now with $15,000 in their pot. Um,
For now.
for now. For now. $15,000 for now. Um, so then they go, Ari tells them, let's go relax. Let's go have some dinner. And we're gonna go relax and eat. And you're like, okay,
Yes.
yay.
Yes, let's relax with another mission. Okay. We go straight into another damn mission. I have to say, though, I love this mission.
I did too.
It's so oh my lord, what is that game we used to play all the damn time? With the
Mafia.
rolls. No, not Mafia.
It
The
is
other one.
very it's Wolf
No, the other one.
Hitler.
Where it's like the other one.
Jesus, Logan. I don't know what you're talking about right now.
The one where it's like you can take money from the thing or you can steal the one with like the assassin and that one. I have played it with you before. I know that for a fact.
I still think it's like Mafia.
No, because Mafia is a little different. It's the like one where you're like the commander or the assassin or the oh my lord, I'm gonna Google it. Talk about this mission. I'm gonna Google it.
I think it's Night Wolf or Werewolf something. I don't remember. But
Coup!
yeah,
Fucking coup!
I didn't play Coup.
Yes, I thought you had.
No, don't play. I have never
Yeah, because
played
it's the
Coup.
assassin and the Contessa and the Duke
Oh,
and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no.
I could have sworn I've played it
The
with you at least
card
once.
game
Yes, it's the one we used to do online all the time.
with the cards. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, where
Okay.
you have two roles and you have to lie about your roles.
Right. Okay.
I was like,
Yeah.
I've played that with you, I think.
I
Or
think
maybe
so.
you were there. I don't know. Regardless,
Okay. Whatever.
that was gonna bother me. I'm glad. So yeah. So in that vein,
Yeah. They sit them down
there's
at the table and they give them.
mhm,
They all get to choose a fortune cookie, and it was 5 of them had money in it,
mhm.
and 5 of them had exemptions in it. And it was now your time to try to either get your exemption, lie to make people believe that it's not you, or let people know the money and try to build up money for the pot. And the money went from range from 5,000 all the way up to 20,000. So
Yeah. So there
a lot,
were
a lot,
there were two with 5,000, two with 10,000, and one with 20. Right.
right?
Yeah. Cool.
A lot of money to be won in this moment, which they needed. So
Yes.
everybody grabs their fortune cookie, and they're like, "All right, They're looking, and now they have to lie. And so Tony has $20,000 in his.
Mhm.
But because of the stunt that Tony pulled the other day,
Ain't
nobody's
nobody
believing Tony. They're not believing Tony. They don't believe what he says. But then Ryan, on the other hand, is like, I have 20,000. And Tony was like, what? That's not true because I have 20,000. And Tony's so goofy doofy. He's like, I have the 20,000. It's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And of course, and see, this is me. I know I probably will be the worst at this game because I would just, everything
Oh,
Hannah says, I'm just like, no,
the worst.
I would be
The
the
worst
worst.
at this. The
Because she'll
worst
be
at
like,
this.
she was like, I believe Tony. I was like, of course you believe Tony. Ew. Ew. I'm not believing you, but I would have been wrong in
The
that moment.
the fact that the first person to be cast on another show outside of this is Tony baffles me. He got cast on some other Netflix show coming up. I'm like, really? Y'all picked Tony? Okay, whatever.
Okay. Sure. um, but Tony's like, I have it. Hannah believes him, and everybody's kind of looking, and Ryan is like, I'm telling y'all, I have the $20,000, and y'all can listen to Tony if you want to. Da da da. Eventually, the vote comes down, and people believe Tony, and they vote Ryan, and she actually definitely has the exemption, so she's gone from the table, and that drew some eyes to her. People were like, "You were willing to give up $20,000 just so you can be exempt? Wow." What does that say about you? So that brought some eyes and some to her, to her. And everybody's kind of like, okay. And I ain't gonna lie, she is one of my suspects who I think could possibly be the mole.
Who, Ryan?
Yes.
I could see it. I don't honestly. They're not showing a whole lot of her, which makes me think that maybe she is. I feel like the editor, and I'm also looking at this from like the editing standpoint of like who is getting a mole edit. Not that really anyone is getting a mole edit, I wouldn't say. I could see it. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me at this point.
Right. And so next group was Muna, Hannah, uh,
Niche and
Niche.
Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. So Muna has the exemption,
Yes.
but she almost convinced them that it wasn't her.
She did a damn good job until she didn't do a damn good job.
Right.
That's
One
what it
thing I
was.
learned about Muna's tales is when she starts talking really, really fast, it's like, okay, Muna. She starts talking really fast and she gets very defensive. And I'm like, she gonna have to calm that down because for me, I was like, she got the exemption because she started doing that whole. I mean, you can do it if you want to, but it's not the truth. I was like, just keep it level. Don't get defensive. Just keep it.
This is honestly across all 5 episodes. This is the first time I saw Muna get nervous because I really had not seen. I hadn't seen it up until this point, and through the rest of the episodes, I didn't really see it all that much either. But I was like, I saw that immediately because knowing Muna, we've seen her lie before. We've seen her get caught in lies before. Right. So it's like I was like, oh no, she had the exemption, and then she gets voted out. She had the exemption, of course.
They vote her out, and then who else had it was Melissa.
Yeah,
and she got called out. They voted her out.
Yeah.
Then the next group
they also voted out Sean.
Yeah.
Out of that second group.
Yeah.
They voted Muna and then they voted Sean. So it was 3 exemptions off. Then they vote Melissa.
All right. And she definitely had it. Then there's
4 gone.
Right. And I was like, oh, are they about to do a clean sweep and get all the exemptions out? Which would have been great. I would have
That would have
loved
been
it.
nice.
That
That
would
would
have
have
been
been
lovely.
nice, but
But somebody's a better liar than others. And it came down to Mike, Deanna, and Q.
and
Yeah.
Melissa.
Yeah, Mike and no, Mike, Deanna, and Q. Because Melissa got voted out already. She's gone.
Yes, you're right.
So
Yes.
Mike let everybody know he felt like it was Deanna. Because at first he was like it was Q. And Q was like, now y'all know I would not do that. And I don't have the exemption, da da da. And Q pulled out the necklace that he been kissing
Yeah.
on. Because Q was so nervous at the first round. And this is my mama. Y'all know I would never say nothing about on my mama. This is on my mama.
Mm-hmm.
And so everybody was like, well, Q would never do that on his mama. He wouldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So it got to be Deanna or Mike. And so Mike tried to shift it to Deanna. He was like, oh, Q, if you lied to me, I'll be very sad. But I put it on Deanna. Deanna put it on Mike. Tony put it on Q still. It turned out to be that more people put it on Deanna because they thought Deanna. And but Tony was like, it's not Deanna. And it wasn't Deanna because it was Mike. So Mike had the
Of course it wasn't
exemption.
Deanna.
Of course it wasn't Deanna. Mike had the exemption.
I will say this is the shift for me when Mike starts playing into being the mole.
Mm.
I do like the way Mike is playing. I think Mike is going to get burned here soon, but I do like the way that Mike is playing.
If he's not the mole, I still have some suspicions on him maybe possibly being the mole.
Maybe.
But if he's not the mole, I do agree with you. He's going to get caught up eventually really soon.
In the way that, and we'll talk about it when we get to the fifth mission. In the way that I think Muna is getting called out for being the mole, and she's playing into it, and I think she'll be able to get off with it. I don't know that Mike will be able to do the same.
Okay.
So
they end up with 25,000 or 20. What how much they get? 30,000. I can't remember.
The pot's now at 60. I don't remember. I didn't go to fucking school for math, so we're at 60 now.
So they got
we're going
all
into
of
another quiz,
another elimination right then and there, like right there. They do it. Elimination. I think we already. Yeah, Melissa. Sorry, I didn't fix it.
What?
Oh my god,
Melissa.
Stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
Okay. Bye, Melissa.
I'll have it very much fixed next week. But Melissa's gone. The one thing I don't like, I get like at the mall. I'm like, oh dang, I couldn't even let him say goodbye. It's just like, just get up and walk away. Just get up and walk away. Like, oh, okay. But so we move on to the next day and the next mission, which I kind of found very interesting. First of all, they took them to this beautiful hotel in Kuala Lumpur. Gorgeous. And I was like, oh, I know this city. I know the city. Well, I've seen this city on Amazing Race. Great. So they go to Kuala Lumpur and they all get to stay in this beautiful hotel, 5-star hotel. Everybody get their own room. I was like, oh, the mole got money. The mole got money.
Netflix has the money.
Yes, Netflix got money. They putting them up in 5-star hotels in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur by themselves. Okay, work. And so they get into the hotel, and Ari comes on each screen, and it's like, I want to have a movie night, and this movie is going to be information that you could watch your one competitor give their explanation of how they would play the game if they were the mole.
Yeah.
But each movie ticket costs $5,000 out of the pot.
Yep.
So text me and let me know if you want to see a movie with me. I'll bring the popcorn. And I was like, oh, okay, Ari. That's funny. Um,
Ari got
so
several texts.
you
It
got
felt very
several
Love Island
texts.
in this moment. I was like, it felt very Love Island to me.
And so everybody,
Except for Q.
everybody except Q decided to see this movie. And I was like, Q, why are you not going to do this when you knew somebody would? I didn't care if I knew one person was doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
And and that is why I am 100% certain Q is not the mole.
Oh, he's definitely not the mole. He's 100%
That
there
was
trying
the
to win money.
moment for me. That was the moment for me where I was like, nah, he ain't the mole. It's fine. Yeah, no.
No, I knew he wasn't the mole. I knew he wasn't the mole when he was breaking down, talking about some, y'all gonna let this go down, this money go down like that. Da, da, da. I was like, yeah, he ain't the mole. He actually needs the money. He actually is there because he needs the money. And he was like, apparently y'all rich enough, y'all don't need this money. I was like, yeah, he is here. He is not the mole. He is here because he needs the money.
If he is the mole,
Baby,
he's playing a phenomenal game.
If he is the mole, somebody get him an Oscar.
When we come back here in a few weeks and we talk about the finale of this, and if he is the mole, I would slow clap. Like,
I would say he is the reality star of the year for me. I don't care who comes along afterwards, because you cannot convince me that he is the mole right now. You can't. I'm not buying it. I just wouldn't. But ooh, child. If he is the mole. Anyway, so everybody goes to this movie except for Q. So they are taking $25,000 out of this pot because Q.
No, not even. It's 40,000.
Oh, 40,000. Yeah, 5, 10.
No, so if everyone declined, they added $25,000 to the prize pot. But we all know they weren't going to do that. So it was 5,000 a ticket. 8 people took a ticket.
Yep.
So they lost 40,000. So we're back to 20,000 in the pot. I think the choices of who people picked is very interesting.
Me too. I knew for a fact Deanna was gonna pick Muna because she had doubts about Muna from the beginning.
Yes,
I knew that, and I knew most of the people go pick Hannah because they just. I think a lot of people are feeling the same vibes that a lot of people who are watching it is like, I just feel like she's the mole.
I feel like she's being, and if she is the mole, I do think she is playing a good game in that she's being very overt with the way that she is flirting and very overt with the strategy that she's playing and using her emotions. And that's why I think she is the mole, because I think, and we even hear a little bit of this in her video as well. Like there's a lot of things in the video that a lot of people are, catching on to. Tony watches it, Sean does, and Niche does as well. Tony's like, oh good, well, it's not her. Whatever. But so we have Hannah. Hannah picks Mike. Like we said, Deanna chooses Muna because whatever. Mike picks Sean. So does Muna, and so does Ryan. I found it interesting that nobody, was there anyone you were surprised? I was surprised no one picked Niche.
I was a little surprised nobody picked Niche. I knew wasn't nobody gonna pick Q because everybody know Q ain't.
I didn't think anyone was gonna pick Deanna either.
No.
Deanna's the other one that I'm like, if she is the mole, she's playing a good game of it, but I don't think it's her personally.
I was shocked nobody picked Tony.
I was also surprised no one picked Tony.
But
I think Tony was just being very, very open with the game that he was playing, which was showmancing Hannah. So it felt a lot more like Tony was the one that was like, no, I'm going to do this. And Hannah kind of just fell into it and was like, yeah, I'll use this to my advantage. Totally.
Right.
At least from what we saw. We're clearly not seeing a whole lot of it, but whatever. So
But yeah, so everybody did went to go see the movie. Mike was very shocked to hear about Sean being an undercover cop,
Hmm.
and that shocked a lot of people. They were like, those who went and saw, they were like, oh, he's not just a stay-at-home dad like he says he is. He's a
Hmm.
undercover cop, a retired undercover cop. All right, okay, Sean, we see you. And Mike was looking at Sean. Muna is now looking at Sean. Ryan was like, okay, all right. Um, Deanna and Niche were like, well, Deanna was like, yeah, Muna could be. She could be. It because we do trust her. Everything she says, we're like, yeah, she could be. And Niche was
I
like,
still think she could be too.
She's not off the list for me that she could possibly be.
The
But
only two people off the list for me, honestly, other than the other
Q
person we saw
and Deanna.
eliminated, Q and Deanna are the only other two that I'm
Yeah.
like, I just don't think.
Q and Deanna are the only two people who I just don't think it is. Everybody else, I'm like, you possible. You possible.
Hmm.
I can see you. But they all look, and so everybody's surprised. And so when they get back to they get to the hotel, and Ari lets them know that 8 people out of the 9 left has said they want to see the movie. So Q was just like, "Are you kidding me?" So mad. He was so mad. He was so mad. He was like, "We had to put up to $60,000, and y'all took 40 out of." I'm so mad. He was so mad. He could not believe it. I was like, you should have added to that. You should put your 5,000 to that and moved on. But whatever. So people were trying to figure out who saw whose video, but nobody was giving nobody no clues, no hints.
Yep.
Everybody was holding their cards close to their chest. They was just like, I mean, I
Hmm.
watched. Look, Mike was like, I watched Pitch Perfect last night. Okay. So we go to the next mission, and the next mission they told them that they were going to go to a gala and they were going to go to a party. And so they had clothes ready for them. Go get dressed and meet us there. And
Hmm.
they put on these clothes and they're not guests at the party. They're the
They're
servers.
working it.
They're working
Of
the
course.
party. So they have split them up into 2 groups, front of the house and back of the house. So they were trying to figure out who was going to do front, who was going to do back. Ended up being in the back of the house. It was Mike, Sean, Muna, Deanna, and Niche. No, Niche was in the front of the house. So it was Mike, Muna,
Mike, Muna, Deanna, and Sean
yes,
are
and
back of the
then
house.
we're back of the house, and then you had Niche, Ryan, Tony, Q, and Hannah in the
Hannah.
front of the house.
Yeah.
So they had to go and serve the guest, and they had clues. I really like
Yeah.
this
I
mission.
love
I'm gonna
this
say
mission.
that. I
This is
really
my
like
favorite.
this.
This is my favorite, like actual because I like the round table, like the
Hmm.
fortune cookie one. I thought that was kind of cute. This has been my favorite mission so far because these are the kinds of like logic puzzle things that I fucking love doing.
Would you
I
want to be
would
the front of the house or the back of the house?
I would want to be back at the house just because I feel like with the information, even if the information is right or wrong, what information I had, I would be able to figure out like where it's leading to. And then
Hmm.
whether it's right or wrong is based on the quality of the information that I'm giving. But I would rather
Hmm.
want to have the information and decipher the information than get the information myself. But
Hmm.
what about you?
Hmm.
What would you have wanted to do?
I would have wanted to be front of the house because I would have wanted to make sure that I'm giving you the right information. So
Uh-huh.
I can say if something goes wrong after the information I gave you is because you're trying to sabotage it. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like because the information I gave you was right. She had red wine. She had white wine. She
Yep.
had a chicken skewer, and she had this, you know,
Yeah.
this gold dress with short bob. Like I'm giving you all the information, and if you are miscuing the information when it goes to the back of the house, now I can be like, mm-mm. Now y'all all heard what I said to him.
Uh-huh.
Y'all all heard what I told them. So that's the mole. You know what I mean? 'Cause, yeah, I would want to make sure I'm giving the right information. So yeah, I would rather want to be front of the house. But Oh my God. So they go and they got they have what the clues are and what they're supposed to be looking for. Somebody who's drinking white wine. So you can, it's like a game of guess who, which
It
I love
really
that
is, and
game.
I love it. I love it so
I
much.
love guess who. So it's kind of like, okay, anybody drinking red wine, they not it. Close their
Yeah.
nose. And so this was very much Sean coded without without the people who didn't see his thing. It's Sean coded
Right.
very undercover cop
Right.
type of deal. And that is why Mike was looking at Sean so very closely, because he's like, if anybody is going to do this, it's Sean. And I think he told him before. Did Mike tell? I think Mike told Sean before that he looked at his, right? Or did he tell him afterwards?
I think it was
No, he told him
after.
afterwards. He told
It
him
was after, yeah.
afterwards.
It was after.
Yeah, it was after. But so Mike has got a very close eye on Sean, and Sean realizes that he's being looked at and watched. So he's like, huh, do I use this as my as do I use this as like maybe I can look like the mole even if I'm not the mole? And he
And I
took
do
advantage.
love this. I do love
Yes.
this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He was like, because if he's looking at me so closely, he must think I'm the mole, and he must have watched my thing. So I'm gonna make him think I'm the mole, so he can keep pushing me, and he can go. So I was like, oh, okay. So he purposely takes a picture off the wall that he's supposed, because he's in charge of flipping them over. Like, we got all the red
Uh-huh.
wine people take them off, flip them over. He purposely takes a picture off the wall and stuffs it in his pocket. Now, come to find out, the picture he did take off the wall was somebody who was actually this right
Actually, this right
person
person. Yeah.
who they needed. And so he was like, oh, uh-oh. But he did that, and Mike, of course, caught him doing that and was like, oh, okay. So that was one person who took a suspicion. The second person who had suspicion on him was Ryan from Hannah, because Hannah, they had to pick, somebody had to two different hors d'oeuvres that they were passing around. It was either a chicken thing or a shrimp thing. And Ryan was in charge of telling the back of the house what each person was eating at this certain table so they know who they were looking for. And Ryan told that the pilot that they were looking for got a shrimp thing instead of a chicken thing.
Right.
And Hannah was like, what? No, he got chicken. But she didn't say anything because she's like, okay, Ryan, I'm looking at you now. And if I'm not, I can't give all my information away, because if I'm right and Ryan is the mole, I need to keep that information for myself. And so she told no one what she saw from Ryan. And that was another suspicious eye that was raised. So they go through the mission and they complete the whole thing. And it was supposed to be 3 bags that they find with money in it, with $10,000 a piece in it. And so the first one they find, the artist, they do all the things. They open her bag. It's $10,000 in it. They're like, yay, we got the money. The next one they were supposed to find was the pilot, and it was between two. Was the doctor? It was the doctor. Supposed to be the doctor, and they pick. And the doctor was the one who Sean took off the wall and put in his pocket. So they found this other lady with a sleeveless dress and a
Uh-huh.
bob haircut, and they said she was it.
No.
She was not it.
No.
She had a nice, lovely tea set in her bag. And so then it was the pilot. And this is where Ryan's, and I'm putting it in air quotes, Ryan's mistake happened. And so out of the 2 pilots that were there, they chose the wrong pilot.
Mhm.
And he had tropical fish in his bag, in his box. No money.
And the gag is Hannah sees the
Yep.
lie, says nothing.
Says nothing.
I'm
Says
like, okay.
nothing.
Cool.
And she's like, and not only does she say nothing to the people, the group, she says nothing to her closest ally
Mm-hmm.
because in his eyes, they're on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
If she thinks this one person, he thinks it's this one person, and they're going to go with this one person. Come to find out, we go back to do our elimination test, and man,
The gaggery, the goopery. When Tony gets eliminated, I was like,
I was
that
like,
caught me off guard.
me too. I did not see that
I was
coming.
like,
I
huh?
was very much like, wait, what?
Because it happens like
Oh,
pretty early on in the sequence too.
mm-hmm.
And Hannah is, I'm going to put this in air quotes because I think she's the mole, distraught over this whole situation. I love, and this made me really enjoy Ryan more, when she goes, are you stunned that it's him, or are you stunned because you knew something?
Right.
So here's what I will say about this cast. Muna, stand card, duh, period, end of story.
Yeah.
Always, of course, permanent, laminated on my wall.
Right.
Ryan,
I'm gonna hold it up here.
I'm going to hold it here.
I'm holding it.
Because we have not seen much of her, but what we have seen has been very entertaining.
Very entertaining. I think from the first episode I liked, and then she was on my radar from the first episode.
Yeah.
And then this episode I was like, okay, she might be mothering a little bit. We'll see. But that was the mole episodes 3 through 5. And
we got more, Lana.
Oh yeah, because it is.
We got a whole nother mission.
I kind of wanted to stop, but no, we do. We have a whole nother mission.
There's not a whole lot. Honestly, last mission, there's not a whole lot to go through. So Tony's gone. Gag, goop, betrothal, whatever, gagged. So we are now headed to Port Klang.
Yes.
We arrive at a shipping yard where Ari lets them know that there are 20 containers from the US, and those 20 containers have cash in them with a total of $50,000.
Yes.
So the contestants have to find them and load them onto one of 3 identical trucks. But only one truck is the correct truck, and it is the truck with the name of the person who was the most suspected to be the mole in the last elimination quiz. And the 3 names that are given are Sean, Mike, and Muna.
Yep.
None of which surprise me. None of which do I think are actually the mole. So, this challenge is basically a lot of gathering and then a lot of, okay, we don't think it's Sean.
Right.
So between Mike and Muna, how much money do we put on each one? And they basically have to 100% say who I'm putting this in quotation, who they voted for.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people lie about it.
A lot.
I have to say, she was coming for my girl, but I do love that Deanna was like, I voted Muna since the start. It's like, all right, girl, go off, queen. Like, hey, I'm not mad at it. But they all ultimately decide that, at least in their perception, Muna is the top suspect, which ain't the truth, but whatever. And I think this was the best possible scenario for Muna's game.
Me too.
I think Muna is now set up in a phenomenal position.
Same. Absolutely same. Because all those people, they decided that Muna was the one. Muna is the top suspect. Everybody's going to put. So they put most of the money in Muna. They put some money in Mike and they put like a very little in Sean. And they even put a doubler that they found
In
in
Muna's.
Muna's. So whatever the amount that they had in there, they was going to double it. Um, and so Ari lets them know once they collected everything and put everything and they ran out of time, he was like, only one of these are correct, and that's the only one that's going to show up at the place, at the location. So y'all better hope it is Muna.
Mhm.
And so the trucks take off. They go to their next location.
It was not Muna.
No,
It's Mike.
no, it was Mike. And
So they still earn $19,500.
19,000.
Lovely. Wonderful. Great. And then we go straight into another damn game. Now, this is what I've been waiting to talk about all damn episode, Lana. Because we get basically a Survivor-style auction. I was like, all right. It looked like we were on Survivor too. So the auction, there's 3 items that can be bid on. If nobody bids on an item, then $5,000 gets added for each one of the 3 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
And the first box is you get to study someone's dossier for 15 minutes. Nobody takes it. Of course they don't. The second box has a correction. So in the next quiz, one of your answers will automatically turn into a correct answer.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody goes for it. The third box, and everybody's been talking about this third box.
So
and of course, the third box includes an exemption.
They have to bid.
They bid.
Somebody bid
59,000.
all of the money.
The entire pot.
The entire pot. I was like, this was the perfect opportunity for the mole to strike.
Oh, yeah.
But if you did do it and you are the mole and you get it and it's exposed, wouldn't everybody just know you're the mole?
Well, okay, so here's the thing. Do we know that they're going to expose it in the next episode?
Because
that's where we leave off at the cliffhanger.
Yeah, we don't know.
So
we don't know
if
they're going to expose it. Now, if they're going to expose it, then I wouldn't have done it. But if they weren't going to expose it, and I'm the mole, absolutely.
And there's no precedent for because none of the other ones have been taken. So right. I'm curious whether they're going to announce it or not. Which they have with every other exemption. So I'm gonna go ahead and assume that maybe they did. But goopery, gaggery, and that's actually where we leave off this episode.
Right. $59,000.
So after 5 episodes and 5 missions, the pot sits at 0. Crazy. Work, divas.
Crazy. Insane crazy. But that's where it ends. And y'all, I'm stunned. I'm stunned that even happened. And that's the
gaggery, the goopery, and the gaggery, and the gaggery, and the goopery all at once.
All at once. But new episodes drop on Friday. We'll be back next week to talk about the new episodes. We'll figure out a schedule.
Before we go, Lana, one name.
No.
Who's the mole?
No.
Who's the mole, Lana?
No.
Who's the mole?
Ryan.
Okay.
Who is it, Logan?
Hannah.
That was my other one.
Ryan was my other one. So, Mona, you ain't off the table yet, sis.
No.
But
you could be the mole. But anyway, if you want to, I would love to know what you all think. So let us know in the comments below. Who do you think is the mole? Give us your choice of who you think is the mole. Let us know. Subscribe and on the channel and hit the notification bell on your way out. Subscribe to our other 3 channels as well. Hit the follows on our audio platforms and join our membership so you can get some early access and some exclusive content. You can follow us on our socials at The Cup Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You can follow Logan and myself if you'd like, or you can follow or not. It's either way. Um, and you can get your cup merch, period. So get your merch, get your things, follow
Get your
us,
life.
get your life, and we'll be back next week to talk about the mole. So cheers, y'all.
Stan Muna for clear skin, period.